Hello there guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and on this video I am going to give you the list of players who I think have done well for Manchester United under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's guidance, and there's also lots of other things to talk about, but I will delve into them topics a bit later on in the video. So number one is Anthony Martial. Now I think he's done really well recently. He has rejuvenated himself as Anthony Martial. He has scored 3 goals in his last 3 games as Martial. I know a lot of Manchester United fans, including me, earlier on in the season were criticising Martial, because he did go through a bad period. Of course, Manchester United this season have been putting Anthony Martial in that number 9 role, even though that's not his predominant position. His predominant position is that left-hand side. And I still think there's some Manchester United fans saying that, we need to revert Anthony Martial back to the left-hand side. So he is in really good form. Martial's been a long-serving player at the football club. He is now into his 5th season at Manchester United. Of course, Manchester United paid around £36 million for him from Monaco, potentially rising up to 57 or 58 million based on goals and achievements. So, we did pay a substantial amount for him. Don't forget, was it last season, was it, if I'm right, or last summer? He did extend his contract with the football club, did Anthony Martial, and he's made over 200 odd appearances in all competitions and scored 60 odd goals for Manchester United as Anthony Martial. But yeah, he's now a player I would be determined to keep. My perceptions were different when he went through that bad period, but now he's rejuvenated himself. I would be determined to keep him. He is only at the age of 24, is Anthony Martial and that. So he's number one, who I think's done really well since Solskjaer got recommended in. Number two, I think Marcus Rashford's also done really well. The bad news is regarding Marcus Rashford though. He could be out for the rest of the season, like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer recently confirmed. He did say that Rashford is touch and go, to play again before the end of the season. Could even miss the Euros this summer. Obviously if he's not fit, he isn't going to be participating in the European Championships, is Marcus Rashford. Rashford up until this point has spent the entirety of his career with the football club. He's been a United player since the age of 7. And he has become an integral part of our team since he broke into the senior squad back in 2016. Rashford is on 63 senior goals for the football club in just over 200 appearances. And I think he's, 21 or 22 years of age. He's got a back injury as Rashford. He was expected back sometime in March, but the recent scan he's had, his injury is more severe than what we first presumed. So that's obviously a lot of negativity about that. But he's been one of our best players this season, to be fair, as Rashford. A lot of aspects of his game have improved. My perception on Martial, there is still aspects of his game that need to improve, like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did recently confirm. But obviously, we've got Odion Ighalo in, of course, on loan until the end of the season. So he's the good cover-up for Marcus Rashford. And he's also a good alternative to Anthony Martial. He's not yet made his full debut for the football club as Odion Ighalo, but he has, come off the bench as Odion Ighalo and that. It's very unlikely that Manchester United will make his deal permanent. Unless, he hits the ground running, or Manchester United if we were to get more injuries to some more attacking players, then maybe we could consider getting him on a permanent transfer. But he is a very good player, he's Odion Ighalo. And like Solskjaer said before, he's a different type of centre forward, and he is an experienced player. Now, number 3, Mason Greenwood. Now, I think he's also been a revelation for Manchester United. Don't forget, this is only his first season in the senior squad, Mason Greenwood. Solskjaer recently come out and give his overarching view on Mason Greenwood. And he did say in a couple of years' time, Mason Greenwood probably will be a complete number 9, in the next couple of years' time. Obviously, Solskjaer give him a start. Surprisingly, against Watford in the league, and he seldom starts in the Premier League, does Mason Greenwood. But you can put him in the 9, you can also put him on the right-hand side, and he is only at the age of 18, is Mason Greenwood. He's on 11 goals now for the football club this season in 20-odd first-team appearances, 5 goals in the Premier League. But what an outstanding player that Mason Greenwood is, and Solskjaer has got a lot of trustworthy in Mason Greenwood. So yeah, I've been very impressed with him. Also, Bruno Fernandes has been absolutely fantastic for Manchester United. like I said, he's been a revelation as Bruno Fernandes. He's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. So far he's played 3 times in the Premier League. He scored his first goal against Watford at the weekend from the penalty spot. Not only that, he also provided and assisted Bruno Fernandes, and I think he's been named man of the match in his last. Is it in his last 3 games he's been named man of the match, Bruno Fernandes. But he does make the difference in our team, does Bruno Fernandes. Very instrumental. His decision making is very, very good, and he could be key, to our rebuilding process under Ole Gunnar Solsjkaer and that. But very, very good addition to the squad is Bruno Fernandes. Of course, Manchester United paid 68 million for him, so he's like our 4th most expensive signing. And, he's going to be here for at least the next 5.5 years because that's the contract he did sign. But Man United have got an option to extend it for a further year. Bruno Fernandes is predominantly number 10. As long as we're keeping in that position, we'll see the best of Bruno Fernandes. He only could become a liability, if he was to be reverted, as a holding midfielder and that. But, he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. I think also too, Daniel James hasn't been so good in the last month, but I thought, in the game against Watford, he did make an impact, made some good runs in behind, also created some good chances, did Daniel James, so I was very, very impressed with him. Solsjkaer has been overplaying him, let's be honest. He's played over 30-odd games this season as Daniel James, but he's still done very, very well prior to the month or so. He hasn't been so good. I think Bissaka's done really, really well at right back. Harry Maguire's done well. He scored his first goal for Manchester United in the 2-0 win against Chelsea. And I think the club made the right decision by giving Harry Maguire the captaincy on a permanent basis. We give him the captaincy reflecting on Ashley Young's departure from the football club. And, Manchester United paid 80 million for Harry Maguire. But he has, enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career as Harry Maguire. Also, too, I've been very, very impressed with Fred because, he's recently, rejuvenated himself as Fred. I think he tends to play better when he's playing alongside McTominay, does Fred. He's had a good couple of games alongside Matic and that. I'd said, we needed to give Fred time because under the Jose Mourinho era, Fred never really got his opportunities, let's be honest. And Manchester United did pay around £58 million for Fred. So he's also been a revelation. Brandon Williams, he's been fantastic under Solskjaer. He's another one. I think now Manchester United view Brandon Williams as our first choice left back. We still do play Luke Shaw. I think Solskjaer may go with Luke Shaw in terms of the experience because Luke Shaw's experienced, Brandon Williams is inexperienced. Brandon Williams is still in his first season in the senior squad with Manchester United and that. But, he has done really, really well in that. So quite a few players have, improved, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's come in. Obviously, Solskjaer has been now at Manchester United for 14 months, so he has been at the football club now over a year, and I think he's been permanent boss, hasn't he, for almost a year now as Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Now, I've just been reading recent reports, and this is stemming from Ed Woodward, the executive chairman, and, he's come out and said, we have the foundations for long-term success with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So what he means in that aspect is he's determined to back Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, despite, our poor financial figures, he's still determined to back him. And probably, Solskjaer, will be given a second chance at Manchester United. So probably he will be given another season at the football club because don't forget he's in his first full season at the moment. He knows now he's got many expectations to exceed. It is a transition period for Manchester United. And like Solskjaer revealed at the beginning of the year, he's hopeful, that Manchester United can get through this transition period. Now, if we are now, from now on, if we are to go on a good winning run until the end of the season and Manchester United were to finish in the top 4, that would mean Champions League qualification, then I think probably the club will be determined to give him another season. A lot of United fans have got different perceptions on it, like I mentioned yesterday. Some United fans, would give him another season. Some United fans would get rid of him at the end of the season and recommend having Mauricio Pochettino in or Massimiliano Allegri as his replacement. But it's not always the right solution, persistently sacking managers, because Manchester United are not known for a sacking football club anywhere, despite the fact that we have sacked 3 managers since the Alex Ferguson era. Obviously, a hell of a lot of money's been invested in them managerial eras, since Fergie left. We spent around £67 million under David Moyes. He brought Fellaini and Juan Mata in. Obviously, Fellaini's not here now. Of course, the main explanation why Moyes ever got recommended in is because of Alex Ferguson, because they were both Scottish, of course, but Ferguson made the mistake recommending Moyes in. And then obviously, Louis van Gaal, we spent a good 250 odd million. He recruited a lot of players in, also let a lot of players go. He brought the likes of Di Maria in, Depay, Schneiderlin, Schweinsteiger, Daley Blind. And there's still some players here now from the Louis van Gaal era. Jose Mourinho, he recruited 11 players into the club and spent just under £400 million, or was it £400 million? So analysing the vast majority of this team, it's actually, Jose Mourinho's and that. And, since Solskjaer's come in, we've spent £220 million under him on 5 players. And obviously, we're orchestrating on spending a substantial amount in the summer. So in the last 6 or 7 years, we've spent around £1 billion on recruiting new players in. And that's disregarding, what Manchester United spent under Alex Ferguson. But on the other hand, Ferguson did develop a lot of young players. So let's just put that into the equation. Did develop a lot of young players. But I've got to revert back to what I said about Bruno Fernandes. I think he's probably the best signing that Manchester United have made. Probably since, the Ferguson era. I think Manchester United have recruited over 30 players since the Alex Ferguson era. And the vast majority of them players that we've recruited in, have been so inconsistent, at Manchester United and that. And so, yeah, and, Man United have also got the highest wage bill in the Premier League, so take that into account and that. We've obviously, got a couple of ambitions. Obviously, the Europa League is an ambition for Manchester United because obviously we want to win the Europa League. That would mean automatic qualification for the Champions League if we won it. Plus, it'd get us some silverware on the board. We have not won out in terms of silverware yet under Solsjkaer. Plus, the FA Cup is a priority for us because that's also another chance, of getting some silverware on the board. And, the top 4, is a priority for us. Well, we can finish 5th, obviously, reflecting on Manchester City's ban from the Champions League. So don't forget. And, we enjoyed a good week last week. We did really, really well. We got a fantastic result away at Chelsea, beating them by 2-0 at Stamford Bridge. Our first win at Stamford Bridge in the Premier League since 2012. First time we've done the double over Chelsea, in the Premier League era. And we seldom win at Stamford Bridge, to be honest with you. Then obviously, we drew with Club Brugge last week in the last 32 of the Europa League first leg. It was a very, very negative performance by Manchester United, but in terms of the result, that was a positive because Manchester United, of course, got that away goal through Anthony Martial. Of course, Manchester United go up against Club Brugge in the second leg this Thursday at Old Trafford. I'm very convinced Manchester United will win that game because, Solskjaer won't take any risks. He won't take any risks, will Solskjaer. He got a lot of things wrong in the first leg. Of course, he did go with 3 at the back. From my own perception, I think Manchester United look more expansive with 3 at the back, but some people may disagree with me on that current aspect. Solskjaer for the vast majority of this season anywhere has been going with that 4-2-3-1 formation. But let's be honest, from my perception, it doesn't really suit our standards, that 4-2-3-1 formation. But the things he got wrong at the Jan Bradell Stadium was he played Luke Shaw out of position. He played him as a centre-half when he's predominantly a left-back. Did Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He also, played Andres Pereira and Jesse Lingard, which he shouldn't have done because they're 2 liabilities at Manchester United. He also rested Bissaka and Daniel James, which he shouldn't have done. Well, I agree with him resting James, but he should have really started on Wan-Bissaka. He also, didn't start Fred or Bruno Fernandes or Ighalo, but they did come on in the game. But it was very, very poor performance at the Jan Bradell Stadium. But I think it will be totally comparison in the second leg. And the preview is coming up on this channel, so be aware of that. Preview should be coming up either later on today or tomorrow. And it was a very, very good result against Watford, winning by 3-0. And it was a good performance by Manchester United. But that was a game we was expected to win against Watford, because Watford are fighting relegation. they have slightly improved under Nigel Pearson's guidance and that. But I said prior to the Watford game, I wasn't taking anything for granted because we haven't been so good against lower opposition this season. To be fair, though, we've done really, really well against elite opposition, so let's take that into account. And we have had some good results under Ole Gunnar Solsjkaer. I know it's mainly gone wrong since he got the job permanently, but last week, we enjoyed a really, really good week. So hopefully now, we can keep this momentum going. Obviously, a big game coming up at the weekend against Everton. That's away. I think it's on Sunday. And like I mentioned, Everton have got a lot of good attacking players in their team. They look a much better, outfit under Carlo Ancelotti's guidance. So that's going to be a tough test for Manchester United. And I hope it isn't a repeat of last season's game when we did lose 4-0. If you do remember rightly, Solskjaer came out with a public apology after that game. I think that's one of our heaviest defeats so far under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the 4-0 defeat to Everton and that. But that's going to be a very, very tough game. And we have got a busy period coming up. And, this is why Solskjaer was speaking about, rotation. I think Man United are going to be rotating a lot with the games that are coming up. So, yeah, it is definitely a busy period. But Man United are now 5th in the Premier League, reflecting on that win against Watford. We are only 3 points behind Chelsea, so it does keep our top 4 ambitions alive. We have won back-to-back Premier League games, and we have kept a clean sheet in our last 3 Premier League games. So that is definitely a positive. That is definitely a positive. Obviously, I still don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a long-term solution for Manchester United. I credit him for what he did, when he was the interim manager, because he did really, really well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. And I thought he was the right man then, but since he's got the job permanently, everything has just seemed to have all gone wrong. He was a great player for us for 11 years. He flourished under Alex Ferguson's guidance and that. But I think as a manager, he's just too inexperienced and he's been tactically naive for the vast majority of the season. But they are my element of concerns regarding Solskjaer. Obviously, if Man United do decide to sack him any time within his 2.5 years he's got left on his contract, obviously we'll have to pay something in compensation to get rid of him. I think it did reveal out a while back that we'd have to pay around £5 million to get rid of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and that. He wouldn't resign, would he, Solskjaer, obviously, because then he wouldn't obviously get a payoff, because Solskjaer wants his managerial tenure to work out at Manchester United and that. He does obviously want it to work out. And the Premier League teams have been so, a lot of Premier League teams have been poor this season. Chelsea have been so poor, but they've had injuries. We've been inconsistent, but we've had injuries. Tottenham have been poor, they've had injuries. Arsenal have also been poor, but they do look better, to be fair, under Mikel Arteta. I think Sheffield United have enjoyed a really, really good season. But, it's where we can still get the top 4, and this is the worst we've ever been in the Premier League era. We've enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. It's unbelievable, isn't it, that we are still in that, top 4 race. It is unbelievable, isn't it, we are still in that current top 4 race and that. In terms of the transfers and that, obviously, we are making plans for the summer transfer window because, definitely, more signings are needed at Manchester United. Obviously, we have got quite a lot of players on our agenda who we could go in for in the summer. I was reading reports the other week and it did say we're going to get around £274 million to spend this summer on bringing more players in. Well, it said this is what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was going to get. If Solskjaer is still Manchester United manager in the summer, it will be his 4th transfer window as Manchester United manager in that. Solskjaer does still want to continue the policy of recruiting young players into Manchester United, like he did do last summer. So as you all know, the players on our agenda, Jadon Sancho, he's one player on our agenda. I gave you the news regarding Jadon Sancho yesterday. Obviously, it was coming out from Duncan Castles. He tends to be close to Man United. And he tends to be reliable as well, vast majority of the time. He said Old Trafford is the only option for Jadon Sancho this summer due to the development of Chelsea and Liverpool, because Chelsea and Liverpool have also expressed an interest in, Jadon Sancho and that. People are saying we need Champions League qualification to get Jadon Sancho on the board. I'd love Jadon Sancho at Man United. He is going to cost us at least £100 million because this is what Borussia Dortmund have quoted out. But Sky in Germany did confirm that Jadon Sancho is going to leave Borussia Dortmund this summer and that. But it still remains unknown where he's next destination is going to be. But reportedly, Manchester United are leading the race to sign Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. We have been relentlessly linked with him, and we do need a right winger because I've still got element of concerns about that right-hand side. And Jadon Sancho will complement the likes of Bruno Fernandes, James, Martial, Rashford and that in our attacking line, and he's only 19 years of age. Obviously, Moussa Dembele, he's another player on our agenda, is Moussa Dembele. Obviously, Leon quoted out that they are determined to sell him, but only if Manchester United pay around 83 or 84 million pounds for him. Because, we do need an adequate replacement for Romelu Lukaku. We do need a replacement for him. Do you think Moussa Dembele would be the right replacement? He is an out-and-out number 9. He's Moussa Dembele. Chelsea are in for him. He's had a good couple of seasons, hasn't he, with Lyon? He also was good at Celtic. He's played in the Premier League before. He enjoyed quite a few years with Fulham, so he's proven in the Premier League, and again, only at the age of 23. So if we're to get them 2 players on the board in the summer, that'd be, £180 million on 2 players. But Manchester United, do need a striker without a shadow of a doubt. Obviously, Jack Grealish and James Maddison are also on our agenda. They'd probably cost us around £160 million for both of them players. Obviously, if we can get them players in anyway, we can afford to let Paul Pogba go, definitely in that. So they're the players, that Manchester United are in for in the summer. But there is still deficiencies in the squad that need to be addressed. We've got to get probably another centre-half in. I know we've got Maguire, but we are still conceding goals. Well, we have done this season. And then obviously we can use Lindelof as a backup. We've got to get someone in on Harry Maguire's level. Possibly need a left-back. Need a couple of midfielders, we need a right winger, and we do need a couple of strikers in that. So yeah, we are making big plans for the summer transfer window. Yes, we are in that. But on the other hand, I do expect players to leave Manchester United in the summer. Obviously a lot of players have left since Ole Gunnar Solsjkaer's arrival. Around 9 senior players have left since he arrived at the club. So it's good in the aspect last summer that we did get rid of a lot of the deadwood at the club. And we did generate some money, for some of the players that did, depart. And I expect around 4 or 5 players to leave Manchester United this summer. So we are going to generate some money for their departures. Like I mentioned, the players that need to go. Jones needs to go. Matic needs to go. Even though he's recently done well. Matic has been in a good run of form recently. I think it's with Bruno Fernandes, he actually makes Matic look quicker in that midfield, believe it or not. I think Lingard needs to go, Pereira needs to go, Chon and Gomez. I think their futures are uncertain at the moment, but they're coming to the end of the contracts at the end of the season. So they're the players I would get rid of at Manchester United, and that possibly Luke Shaw needs to be moved on. So yeah, we need to get rid of more players than that. But like I revert back to what I said on my recent videos before, there's not only problems with the management at the football club. There's various issues at the club that do need to be addressed. Obviously, a lot of United fans have got doubts about the club's ownership. Obviously, we've got a lot of doubts about, the executive chairman, Ed Woodward. Obviously, we've got a lot of element of concerns about the board. Because our board haven't only been a liability recently. They've been a liability for several years. And in general, I don't like the way the football club has been run in the last 6 or 7 years, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But a change of management isn't only needed at the club. If we're to improve and go on a good run of form, I give Solskjaer another season. If it works out next season, fair enough. If it doesn't work out going into next season, then I would recommend a new manager in. I think Man United have made a lot of mistakes as well in the last 6 or 7 years. We shouldn't have, obviously, give Solskjaer the job permanently. I think the club did put him in a difficult position. I think we should have got a director of footballing, because I did say that's one of the structural changes that we do need at the football club, is getting a director of football. If we'd have got that director of footballing, then Ed Woodward could have moved away from the footballing decisions. Like I mentioned, Ferguson made a mistake by ever getting Moyes in. There's players over the years that maybe we got rid of who we shouldn't have got rid of. We shouldn't have got rid of Lukaku. We shouldn't have got rid of Ander Herrera and that, and all of that. But, we have invested a lot of money into the football club. But, Man United, I know we've been inconsistent for so long, but we are still one of the biggest clubs in the world with a fantastic history. We are the most successful team in England. 20 titles, 13 Premier Leagues, and all of that. But I just don't see us ever being the team that was under Ferguson, regardless of who our manager is. I know Ferguson didn't win out in his first 4 years at Manchester United, but look what he went and accomplished after not winning out in his first 4 years. Unbelievable manager. Solskjaer believes if he's given the right amount of time, he can emulate into the next Jurgen Klopp. He can build a team like Liverpool's. But honestly, I just don't see that happening. My perceptions will only change on Solskjaer if we can go on a good run of form until the end of the season, and then we continue that going on into next season. Definitely in that. But he needs to try and get the best out of the players, because some players have improved, like I mentioned earlier on, but there's still some players that are not performing to the standards as they should be. So just take that into account as well. So that's my everything to update you with today, guys. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.